Welcome to another edition of Swim Easy Speed. So this is the second video that we did that we shot tonight, and this one's with John Fecik. John is East Coast-based triathlete, and he's been working to try and kind of improve his swim for the last 7 years, and has had kind of fits and starts. But I was working with him for about a month leading into the camp, and just writing workouts remotely and trying to help him think kind of about how he should approach the swim and swim practice and swim training. And we've been able to make some pretty significant, solid gains already. So it's been fun to see. But yeah, John's a smart guy, hardworking, and open to learning new things. So if you want kind of where the juice or where the magic is, that's it. Just be hardworking, open-minded, consistent, willing to learn new things, and that pretty much covers the basics. So here we go. We'll just jump right in with John's video. I'll kind of let the video play a little bit. Okay, so the first thing that we want to take a look at is with John is you can see, and it'll become even more apparent kind of in the overhead. You can see how he shorts that left entry a little bit. The right looks pretty good. He has had he broke his collarbone. You see that a lot. That movement kind of comes up when you've broken the collarbone. There tends to be kind of a tightness or a limiting in the movement that happens. You can also see, and we'll take a look here. You can see kind of how the hips don't exactly move with the shoulders. So the shoulders tend to rotate a little bit more, particularly like on that right side. The right side looks a little closed off. So that would be kind of from the side. So underwater, you can see how here's that left coming in and how it shorts the stroke and kind of dives straight down. So right there, he's in a fairly it's an okay position. I'd like to see it a little bit higher, but so here you've got wrist below elbow, elbow below shoulder, which is the lineup that you want. Now, this is a little bit too extreme in terms of the angle. And then particularly when you see this kind of spearing motion, a lot of times what happens is, that's to get that, here it is, early vertical forearm, okay? And you've got to get into this position first before that early vertical forearm to happen. Ultimately, what you really want to think about, though, is a high elbow catch. And why the difference in language? Well, language is important. And when you think about a high elbow catch, the most important part of that whole statement right there is the catch. And if you come in kind of this spearing motion like this, the catch should have happened kind of back here. And then you get down here and you just don't have as good of a grab on the water. It's just not as solid. So then when you pull through, there's just not a lot to pull through. So here he starts pulling himself forward right about there. You can see the hips kind of go up a little bit on that side, and then he rotates through the stroke. So for the right, on the breath, he takes the breath. So he's pressing down, pressing down, pressing down, and then pulls himself forward right about there. So we'll kind of move it forward a little bit, and we'll get to the overhead view here in a second. And then you can see, here's kind of that angle in the water that we're usually talking about. And for John, here we'll back it up. So for John, you can see, we've got right about, let's see, there was one earlier, I think. Yeah, so you can kind of see it's a little bubbly, but right about there. So you can see, the gap kind of there between the top of his butt and the water line. We're looking again at about 10 to 15 seconds, 100, somewhere in kind of that range. So we'll move it forward again a little bit. And then we'll get to the overhead shot here. And here we go. So you can see how, the right side looks pretty good in terms of, really reaching out on the water. He's going a little bit wide there, so you can see how that arm kind of shoots out at an angle like that. And we'd really prefer it kind of like that. So everything is kind of being driven right down that narrow lane. Feet are coming apart right there. It's not unusual to see that, but we want to get to the point where we've got a lot more stability in the water. And really that kind of, just rock solid, core's engaged. You're engaged from the basically top of the stroke down to the bottom. So here he is. This looks pretty good. He's pretty in line with the shoulders there. You can see where the right kind of drifts out a little bit. So right there, the right's kind of going out. So he's putting in some kind of non-linear movements into the stroke. And then, so the first thing we did, I wanted to kind of try to drive a lot more core engagement with him and really connect that to the hand. So what we did was we put on some of the Aquavolo mitts, and then what they call, it's a pull buoy. We call it the Core Link. It's basically just like a hollowed out pull buoy that you can squeeze together. And what that squeezing together with the legs does is it forces core engagement. And then the mitts, you've got to work really, really hard because they diminish your feel for the water. You've got to work really, really hard to get more pressure on your hands. And hopefully in that searching for more pressure on the hands, with the Core Link kind of driving a little bit more core engagement, you can then try to drive even more core engagement, because that's where a lot of the increase in pressure on the hands is going to come from, by connecting kind of your hands to your core. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do. And then if we can do that, what you'll start to hopefully see is a little bit more of a straight line running right down the middle of the body, with everything really, really engaged kind of up to down. So the one thing that we noticed that was going on was that, here's the picture of this. So is that you could see kind of his legs were really starting to drop. And I was trying to get him to, really point his toes, but you can see with that one foot, it's down like that. This one's up like that. But there just doesn't seem to be a lot of connection from here, okay, to here. And here's the thing, and I know triathletes don't like to kick, and certainly think it's a waste of time in swimming for the training that they're doing. That, it's all about saving the legs for the bike and the run. But here's what you're giving up. So this disengagement down here, where he's really struggling to get kind of this to go up. That's happening because there hasn't been a lot of kicking, because those neurons, that neuromuscular connection from, brain and nervous system down to his lower body connected to his core. If you don't make that movement, if you never make that movement, there's not going to be any neuromuscular connection there. And it's just the kind of the neuroscientist shorthand, which is, neurons that fire together, wire together. So if you're never making that movement, yeah, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get kind of, this floppy kind of look down here. And all that's doing, when the foot's in that position, it's acting like a brake and just driving that whole back end down. So we'll keep on going forward a little bit. So what we did was the next one, we just took the Core Link off. And you can see he came up a little bit better. And, he's using his kick a little bit more to kind of bring up that back end. But, everything kind of got a little bit straighter right down the middle of the body. And so it looked good. So here he is. This was kind of the application. We took the mitts off, no core link anymore, and really tried to get body position a little bit better. So let's rewind it a little bit. I'll let you watch it again. So here we go. He's burying his head a little bit, so we'll need to work on that. But all in all, he was going. This was probably set at about 10 seconds faster than it had been when we started. So yeah, that was John's first lesson, first little session in the endless pool, and yeah, we start tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So you guys have any comments or questions, just leave them down below. And if you please like, share, and comment on this video, I'd appreciate it. Thanks again.